says the president remains on the defense when it comes to military members. New recordings from Bob Woodward showed the president criticizing military leaders, and the president continues to deny these accusations that he disparaged fallen soldiers. Our next guest says this is personal for him. Retired Major General of the U.S. Army Paul Eaton. He served in Iraq and lost his father during the Vietnam War. He now serves as a senior advisor for Vote Vets, a group that gives a voice to nearly 700,000 veterans and their families. Thank you so much for joining me. As we mark 9/11, on the backdrop of these disturbing reports, what is your message to President Trump?
Well, what I'd tell the president, and I'd like to acknowledge that you and your teammates are doing a great job today, recognizing what happened on 9/11 19 years ago. Mr. President, civil-military relations are as bad today as it has ever been, as these relations can be remembered well back to the Vietnam War and our worst moments. So you've got to get to work to reestablish a link between the civilian leadership and the uniformed military, or it's going to get worse.
Yesterday, on the eve of the anniversary of 9/11, the president made a comment that I'm hoping you can explain to me. Please watch this.
Again, since February, we haven't had a death in Afghanistan, that's a record for many years, not a death. And we're getting along very, very well with the Taliban and very well with Afghanistan and its representatives. And we'll see how it all goes. It's a negotiation.
I'm just a civilian. We're getting along with the Taliban. That's a good thing?
Well, the president came into office with the promise that he would end endless wars, and he hasn't done that. You end wars with diplomacy, unless you're going to annihilate your enemy, and that's unlikely. You can't kill everybody to achieve an outcome. But we've got to marshal the diplomatic power of the United States, and you have to talk to your opponent. Bring him to the table, hash out an agreement, end the war. This president has been unable to do that.
Just moments ago, we showed on the screen President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump just arrived in Shanksville. But back on Labor Day, he said something else that stuck out. He said that the top people at the Pentagon, they probably don't like him because they want to stay in wars to boost the profits of defense companies. I'm guessing he hasn't looked at what defense spending has been under his administration, or maybe he forgot that his defense secretary, Mark Esper, came from Raytheon and didn't recuse himself from any dealings with Raytheon as the defense secretary. What do you think about that? People at the Pentagon there to help defense companies?
Stephanie, that was the most egregious comment of many really bad comments that this president has made. In 1961, President Eisenhower, admirable man, wonderful general, warned the United States about the military-industrial complex. And we have a president in office right now who missed that warning, obviously, because he shovels money into the mouths of military industry, and Raytheon is right at the center of it. It's entirely inappropriate to have a former executive of a Raytheon company, of Boeing, Lockheed Martin, the whole bunch, in the Pentagon. It is inappropriate, and it is counterproductive for the national security of the United States and to our taxpayers.
Given all that's at stake, I understand chain of command, but do you believe generals who are in the administration, specifically General Mattis, General Kelly, should be speaking out right now?
There is a code that you should retire at the moment you're asked to retire, and be quiet and let those who replace you in active duty carry on, unless it is so bad that you cannot walk past a mistake. We teach our young, we teach our peers, we work on our superiors, never walk past a mistake. Well, when it's so bad that we've got a situation right now with this president, I believe it's high time to hear from General Mattis. We've heard from General McRaven. We have heard from General Stavridis. We have heard from General McCaffrey. We've heard from some serious warfighters. I believe that General Mattis, General Kelly, in particular, have an opportunity to help the United States here.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.